Hello, BookTube. This is a book haul, but it's a little bizarre. We started out this morning, my wife and my 3 children, we drove to Lincoln, New Hampshire, because it has a place called Chutters, which has the longest candy bar, a bar with candy and jars on it, in the world, according to Guinness Book of World Records. So we said, we'll take the kids up. And they're all real little, so they were very excited. So, a bunch of bags of candy later, we are getting ready to leave town, which is full of leaf peepers. The traffic was unbelievable for, a small town. Beautiful place, though, in the presidential range, or the White Mountains in New Hampshire. And we saw out of the corner of our eyes this little bookshop. So I went there, and everybody stayed in the car because they didn't want anything to do with it. I have never seen a bookshop like it in my life. I've been to a lot of used bookstores, and this was as bizarre as it gets. There were books piled everywhere. No idea what the organization was. I would see maps, I would see little tape on the shelves as I stepped over boxes of overflowing and scattered books. And once I thought I would have figured out a system, it was always wrong. So I couldn't leave without anything. And I found all of these on shelves where they shouldn't have been. So that's the underlying theme for the first part of this book haul. So the first thing I'm going to show you, and then these are all 50% of the cover price, the original cover price. So in this case, the cover price would have been $1.25. So this is Perry Rodin, the old science fiction serial. And this, like I say, it was $1.25 originally. So it would have been 50% of that. And this is Thora's Sacrifice, Perry Rodin, number 70 by Kurt Brand. Ace Books, New York, in 1975. And the editor of these things was Forrest J. Ackerman. So here's a list of contents. It's been a long, long time since I've read one of these. It's in pretty good shape. Next one is an author I've mentioned on this channel before as a favorite of mine. I just love the cover on this. This is Hampton Innes, Golden Soak. It's about a mine in Australia. It's been many, many, many decades since I've read this particular novel, so I would love to reread it. The next thing I found was Andre Norton, one of my favorites and one of my earliest science fiction authors I followed. She wrote some wonderful stuff. And this is The Jargoon Pard. I have never heard of this. Let me see. So it's a Ballantine Books, New York, a Del Rey book. And this was 1974. The Golden Soak, let me give you the publication information on that while I'm thinking of it. It was first published in 73, and this is the 9th impression of 1982. The other thing about that I didn't show, and I should have, was these maps. And that Hampton is a Fontana paperback. Then I found a couple John Varley, which was sort of fun. So the Ophiuchi hotline is how I think you say it. If anybody knows better, let me know in the comments below. John Varley. Lila was dead by her own hand, but Lila was also very much alive. In fact, there were several of her. And this is a Dell book, and from 1977, but it's the second Dell printing of 79. And then another John Varley, a very famous one, Titan. Hopefully you can see that. This is, I don't want to open it too wide, I'm afraid I'll rip it. So this is Berkeley book published by Berkeley Publishing Corporation, illustrated by Freff, F-R-E-F-F, 1979. What kind of illustrations I can find? Oh yeah, there seems to be illustrations throughout. And then finally, I found Ellis Peters, A Rare Benedictine, The Advent of Brother Cadfael. 3 classic stories featuring Brother Cadfael, whose powers of deduction are practically miraculous. Booklets. This is a mysterious press book. I love these covers. I like Brother Cadfael. I know he's gotten some of the Ellis Peters hero here has gotten some attention on BookTube. So it's The Mysterious Press, New York, and it is, this is from '88, and the illustrations are by Clifford Harper. So the stories are, there's an introduction, then there's A Light on the Road to Woodstock, The Price of Light, and then Eyewitness. So the guy was supposed to charge me whatever 50% of the total cover prices were, and he charged me $3.50. So all those for $3.50. So we left Lincoln. We decided to go home another way. We'd come through the mountains, and it was twisty, windy, and like this. But the trees, the higher we got, especially because they turned faster because of the temperature difference, the trees were gorgeous, and we had sunshine breaking through a little bit while we were going down through the mountains. It was like riding the back of a snake. It was awesome. But we wanted a little easier going home, so we took another route, and we ended up in a little college town, another beautiful little place, Plymouth, New Hampshire. And we took the kids to get a bite to eat, and again we see a thrift store, which is something we don't have where I live. Very many of them, and what we have, nothing to write home about. So, well, it's a college town. You never know in a college town what the books are going to look like. So we go in, and they had, it's right down on the main street in Plymouth. And whoever organizes their book is the exact opposite of the mess that I saw in the first place. This was meticulous. And their pricing was easy. 50 cents for a paperback, $1 for a hardback. And as you'll find out in a few minutes, albums, LPs, vinyl, they were $1 also. So the first thing I found was Any Approaching Enemy, a novel of Napoleonic Wars by J. Worrall. It's a paperback, published by Random House. And this one came out in 2006. And I have the hardback first volume in the series, Sails on the Horizon. So it's very nice to have the second volume. Then I found a reprint of Walter Hard's The Connecticut. Now I live right on the Connecticut River, which is the border between Vermont and New Hampshire on this end. In fact, the only state in New England that the Connecticut River doesn't touch in some way is Rhode Island, I believe. So this is a reprint. It's been out a long time. The Connecticut, Walter Hard, illustrated by Douglas W. Gorsline, forward by Carol Fitzgerald, introduction by Tom Connuel, series editor Thomas Connuel, Massachusetts Audubon Society, Lincoln, Massachusetts, 1998. It's part of the American Rivers series, the Rivers of America series, excuse me, which came out in '47. So this is a you got these wonderful little, little drawings. So it's a local history thing for me. So I was very excited to find it, especially for $1, and it looks brand new. Then the real excitement began. I have read David Eddings. I read the Belgariad cycle, or series, or whatever it's called, and loved it. I think I've done it a couple times. And upstairs I have his series that I haven't read yet, that I got all of them. and that was the Malloreon. So I have a whole series I haven't read. Well, when I'm in this place today, I find a new series, or a new to me series, that I haven't read. And this is the Tamuli. And I was very excited by this. So this is the Domes of Fire, book 1 of the Tamuli. And it's a Del Rey book, Valentine's Books, New York. And this came out in '92. So I have not read this. And to go with it, I found The Shining Ones, book 2 of the Tamuli. David Eddings, again, obviously. Nice hardback again. And that is about Del Rey, a Valentine book, 93. And these are in really good shape. Well, then I thought I found volume 3. I did not. I got volume 3, because they're all sitting together, and I thought it was, well, 1, 2, 3, grab them and go, because my arms are getting a little full here. This is also David Eddings, but it is the Sapphire Rose, book 3 of the Millennium, which is a series I don't have. So I spent $1 on this, so I'll go try to find the first 2 volumes, see what happens. So this came out Del Rey Valentine Book, New York, 91. So I have to figure out how all this works, but still not too bad. And then again for $1, this book is something. William Younger, and it's published by the Wine and Food Society, and it's God's Men and Wine. Big old beast of a thing. It's got a little bit of tape on the dust jacket, which is fine. It's publication of the Wine and Food Society Limited in association with World Publishing Company, Cleveland, Ohio. And it is 1966. And it's a very detailed, through history, ancient times, everything, history of wine. And it's just really a neat book. I've just gone through it a little bit, and I love this sort of thing. Let's see if I can find something else here. So a very, very pretty book. So that was it for the books. Let's see here. Have I picked up everything? Yeah, I've got everything. And then they had a record album. I didn't get to go through the records the way I would have liked to have. My arms were full. My kids were running everywhere. But I did find Nathan Milstein's J.S. Bach's Sonatas and Partitas. It's a Grammy-winning album. And seems to have won every other medal. You can tell by looking at the cover of it here. There's the back. Deutsche Grammophon. Let's see, you get one. Get my fingers to work here. 1, 2, 3 discs. So we get side 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 5 and 6. And then it comes with a booklet. The discs look to be in excellent shape. See if there's anything else in here of interest. No, this is done in the usual collection of French, German, and English, and all that. But I mean, for $1, you're willing. At least I'm willing to take a chance on something like this for $1. When I get it home, it's going to be in good shape. I did look at the discs there, and I can usually tell, but you never know. It's hard to tell if they're warped, if they've got a funny sound, but for $1. So basically, the second place, the one in Plymouth, I got these. And the LP. The LP is also $1. So $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6.50. And then the whole day's haul, 6, 7, 8, 9, around $10. And we'd have to throw in the LP too, because that was all part of the same show. So not a bad day. First bookshop was a little bizarre. Unorganized like anything I've ever seen in my life, but fun. And then the second one was meticulously organized, and I did quite well there, I think. So, thank you, BookTube.